In a quiet Italian town, on a cold November evening in 2010, 13-year-old Yara Gambarasio disappeared without a trace, leaving her family and the community in a state of shock and despair. Despite a massive search effort, her lifeless body wasn't found until months later. Who could have committed such a horrific crime against an innocent young girl? And why did it take so long to unmask the killer? Let's find out. It was a cold November evening in 2010 when Yara Gambarasio left the sports center in Brembate di Sopra, Italy, heading home just 700 meters away. Little did she know that it would be the last time her family would see her alive. Yara never made it back home, setting off a desperate search for the missing girl. The Carabinieri were immediately called upon her disappearance, and a massive search operation involving hundreds of volunteers was launched. But as days turned into weeks, hope began to fade. 3 long and agonizing months passed before Yara's lifeless body was discovered in Cignolo d'Isola, a chilling 10 kilometers away from her hometown. The autopsy report revealed the horrifying details of her death. Yara's body showed signs of blunt force trauma, with multiple superficial cuts that appeared to be made by a pointed object. As the investigation progressed, the hunt for the killer took a complicated turn. A trace of genetic material was found on Yara's underwear and leggings, leading to an extensive analysis of around 22,000 DNA profiles. Among these profiles was a match, an unidentified suspect known only as Ignoto 1, the murderer of Yara Gambarasio. On June 16, 2014, the authorities arrested Massimo Giuseppe Bossetti, an Italian bricklayer who lived and worked in the area. He became the prime suspect due to his DNA matching that of Ignoto 1. The revelation that Bossetti was an illegitimate son of a deceased man called Giuseppe Carinoni added a new layer of complexity to the case. This unknown connection to a dead man raised eyebrows and intrigued both the investigators and the public. Bossetti, maintaining his innocence, claimed that the DNA evidence against him was fabricated. He insisted that his DNA may have been cross-contaminated or damaged due to weather exposure. His alibi was supported by his wife, but doubts lingered, and the police refused any chance of a plea bargain or confession. As the trial unfolded, advisor to the court suggested the possibility of an error in the DNA analysis. Speculations arose that the DNA from Ignoto 1 might not match Bossetti's mitochondrial DNA, raising doubts about his guilt. Bossetti's defense lawyers repeatedly requested his release, pointing to inconsistencies in the DNA evidence, but their pleas fell on deaf ears. Another intriguing element of the investigation centered around Silvia Brina, an instructor at the gym. Her blood was found on Yara's jacket, identified through DNA analysis. When questioned, Silvia claimed to remember nothing and could not explain why she and her brother had sent mysterious text messages to each other during the time of Yara's disappearance. Despite the doubts and controversies surrounding the case, Bossetti was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment in July 2016. The verdict was upheld in subsequent appeals, and the Court of Cassation confirmed his life sentence in October 2018. Over the years, Bossetti's defense team continued to fight for a review of the DNA evidence, hoping to prove his innocence once and for all. However, by March 2021, the absence of any more DNA to analyze thwarted their efforts. As the investigation seemed to reach a standstill, a surprising twist occurred in December 2022. The spotlight turned to the prosecutor, Letizia Ruggeri, who was accused of misdirection and trial fraud. The revelation further shook public confidence in the handling of the case. Despite the conviction, many questions remain unanswered. Who was the real killer of Yara Gambarasio? Did the justice system truly serve justice, or was an innocent man wrongfully accused? Tell us, what do you think? Who was the real killer?